We are a big supporter of the SMS campaign. We feel as though the Guernsey Men's Shed is a place which men can go to when they need someone to reach out to, or just want to go and be part of a wider community of like-minded men. Okay, Guernsey Men's Shed they came about in 2016 after the Thrive 2016 talk that was put on by the TEDx organisers and Dandelion Project. There was a talk by Patrick Abrahams from the UK Men's Shed Association talking about men's sheds, what a men's shed is and how men's sheds benefit men in the community. At the time we were working with Mug Male Uprising Guernsey, looking after men's physical health and getting men to come out of their shells regarding talking about their physical health, but no one was really addressing men's mental health and on a ground level, and getting men to be confident talking about their mental health. And this really resonated with myself and another guy called Marcel Lenormand from Makerspace, and Bella Farrell, who is also at Thrive. And the three of us sort of had this conversation about how useful a shed would be in Guernsey. And that sowed the seeds for the Guernsey Men's Shed. We then set about trying to find a location to base the men's shed, and we found it. We found this great double-wide shed up in St Peter's, which fortunately the Dandelion Project had connections with, and they've given us the use of the shed for the next 20 years. The value of the men's shed and the ethos of the men's shed is basically to get men in an environment where they can just do men things. The traditional shed at the bottom of the garden is a great place where men go for a little bit of isolation, a little bit of time to themselves, to escape their family lives, sometimes to escape their partners and have some free time. But it is just that. It's an isolated shed at the bottom of men's gardens. And for those men who have got the luxury of having a shed, it can be a place that they can go and be contemplative and do the work that they want to do. But there's also value in having a community shed. First of all, for those men who don't have their own garden shed, they can come to the men's shed and do things at the men's shed. There's the community aspect. So if men are feeling isolated, they are feeling lonely, sometimes they've retired and they've come out of a profession where they've had a busy work life. They haven't got much of a social circle, or they haven't got any friends that have carried on from their work life. And they retire and they find themselves at home on their own, twiddling their thumbs with nothing to do. And that's when depression and loneliness can settle in. So the idea of having a community shed gives men somewhere to go and do things. There's no prescribed activities that happen at the shed. There's no prescribed projects which happen at the shed. The shed is what the users make of the shed. Sheds in the UK have have mornings which would be a themed morning, so like a woodworking morning or a metalworking morning or even an art morning or a mechanical morning. But they develop naturally. They develop on what the users of the shed want to do. So if you've got a group who are particularly interested in woodwork and they want to get together and learn how to use lathes and turn wood or make furniture, then what the shed aims to do is to lay on the facility that men can do that. Same respect with engineering or anything mechanical. And with our co-location with Makerspace as well, we can go slightly more techie and get involved in the electronic side of making and doing things as well, using laser printers, laser scanners and 3D printers and milling tools and CNC tools, etc. We'll have the facility here to do that. Yeah, there'll be a massive range of things here for people to do, but it really it's user driven. It's not driven by us running the shed. We'll lay on what we need to do for people to do the things that they want to do in their shed, but it's driven by the users and the demand from what the users want to do in the shed. I think men are just rubbish at talking about what's going on in their heads and about how they're feeling. We know that. Everybody knows that men are rubbish. Wives will know their partners don't talk about their feelings, they'll bottle stuff up inside. It's the great British stiff upper lip way of doing things. You know, you don't talk about your mental health, you don't talk about feeling lonely, you don't talk about feeling low. There's always the banter in the pub of, cheer up, the world's not going to end. And quite often that people don't really have that capacity to talk. I think it's been said before that women will talk face to face and have conversations with each other. Men don't really do that. Men won't really go for a coffee and sit down and talk about their feelings or what's going on in their family lives. However, men will stand next to each other while working on something and talk shoulder to shoulder. And that's a big thing of the Men's Shed, is encouraging men to talk shoulder to shoulder. We're not going to be driving those conversations. Those conversations will happen naturally when men get to know each other. When the shedders come here, they start making friends, they start talking to each other and knowing each other, and being able to recognise when perhaps someone does need someone to talk to. We'll be giving them a quiet space to be able to go and do that away from the crowd or away from the tools. But if they want to talk while they're at a lathe or doing some metal work, the facility will be there for them to do that. The shed itself at the moment is still being renovated, so we're getting there. It's taken the core group of volunteers that we've got are a core group of volunteers that are spending a weekend up here doing some work. So it's taken a while for us to actually get the shed into a position where we can start accepting members. The long-term ambition will be obviously once the shed is launched, we've got the facilities so that people can use, the toilet facilities, the kitchen facilities, and a secure shed, a secure environment that people can be in. We would like potential shedders to come and be involved in the fit out and help with the fit out on a volunteer basis, using their skills that they might have from previous lives or learning new skills, getting that companionship with the guys that are here already, doing work up here already and getting things done, just to come along and lend a hand. Once we get to the stage where we have a shed which is fitted out with electricity all around and lights and some heat and bathrooms at work, we'll launch to the general shedding public. And that will be just come up to the shed, have a cup of tea, have a bacon roll, sort of see what you want to do, bring a project with you, join in with what's going on up here. Our long-term goal, this is our pie in the sky goal, if you like, is not just to have one shed, because we realise we're located in St Peter's. It's quite a long way to come if you're coming from the Vale. So we want sheds all over the island. We'd like at least another 3 sheds. A north shed, a south shed, an east shed and a west shed, this is the west shed. And a central shed, a shed in Sark, a shed in Herm, a shed in Alderney. All with the same ethos, all with the same idea of just getting men out, talking to each other, doing things, making good use of their time, talking about their health, talking about their mental health, if they want to, or just turning up for a cup of tea and a natter about what the weather's doing and what the latest news is. Anybody is welcome at the shed to talk about that. If you want to get in touch with the shed, at the moment we've got a Facebook page, Men's Shed Guernsey, just do a search and you'll find us. You can contact us via the UK Men's Shed Association website, follow the links on there. You can email info@sheds.gg, or you could give me a call. My name is Mark Smith and the telephone number is 07839 264 819. If you want to get involved with the shed or if you want to volunteer, just contact us any of those ways, or turn up on a Saturday morning between 10 and 12:30 up at the site of the shed, which is just by the airport at the old Sandpiper Vinery. We'll be here, bacon rolls from 12:30.